to the Hey Techies Show,
where we are freezing.
Well, Bruce is freezing.
Yeah, of course, I had this drink in the freezer and got it out before we started.
I got to tell you, I didn't think we'd ever get back here. I thought they'd actually moved the station and sold the show, and we had no way back in. But we
the money makers are back, baby.
Right, exactly. I'm
not coming through too well. Oh well.
Turn it up a little bit as much as it'll go up, Guru. I think it. Yeah, try that.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah.
Okay.
There's always something.
Yeah, that's always something.
That mic there seems to get somebody changes something on it all the time. I don't know what the deal is, but I don't think there's anything extra there. There's another product up there that's actually the mic preamp. One of those is a mic preamp. But anyway, that's a whole nother. Welcome to the Hey Techies Show. So glad that you could be here with us tonight, and we are so glad to be here. And it just feels, like I said, it just feels like forever. Last week we couldn't have a show. A lot going on, and well, number one, there was a ball game, and so that was part of it. And the other thing is we just couldn't put it together, so we just didn't have one at all. And it probably worked out for the best. Everybody's minds was elsewhere. It was really tiring, and people
exhausting
were just
2 weeks.
Yeah, it has for a lot of our folks at our day jobs. Been a very exhausting 2 weeks.
I'll be glad when this weather changes. It keeps spring's like I'm here, and it's like, well, I'm gonna go back to bed for a little bit.
Right.
And I'm like, I wish I could go back to bed for a little bit. Spring.
Yeah.
Get out here, like, let's go. I'm ready for this.
It's been fun.
What?
Just been fun. It's been fun watching all the rain today. I tell you, it's just, stuck. It was cold. It was miserable. It was cold. It was cold. Well, look, nothing's going out on tech-wise in the world. Absolutely nothing.
Of course
nothing.
Not.
No.
So this
completely nothing.
Dead air all night.
Yes, right. And the fact is that actually everything's going on.
Yeah,
it's unbelievable all the news out there for tech related and touching every piece of almost everything else going on. It just seems like if you
Now 2 weeks ago the Apple versus FBI story had kind of had only been out for a few days, right? So we're 2 weeks into this.
Yeah, it was extensively covered.
Yeah, for
a whole hour.
Yeah, I was gonna say, so we covered it.
We did, but there's tons.
A lot of things have happened since then.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
And I've watched so many YouTube videos with people from the FBI and other agencies, and some of them have been from like 2012, and some of them have been from a week ago, and I'm really confused now on which was which because they were all the exact same conversation. It's like, why are we still having this? I mean, it's to me, it's just a plan that they keep putting back on the table.
Yeah,
any chance they get. But we'll discuss more on that.
Yeah, absolutely. And of course, our phone number is 256-782-5600, and we would love to take your phone call on any tech-related item.
Yeah, if you got an opinion.
Or opinion on this, or if you've got an issue with your tech
questions,
product.
comments, concerns, ideas.
Right. And HeyTechiesShow.com. We got questions at HeyTechiesShow.com, and you can get those in if you want to do that and not call.
Yeah.
So
that way you can keep listening to our beautiful voices.
That's right.
Not my beautiful voice. I can't even speak tonight.
Yes, yours too. Hey, I can hear him better.
Yeah.
I turned some dial up here. I don't know if I broke anything or not. So
it's working.
Anyway, but yeah, Facebook, Twitter. Just go to the website HeyTechiesShow.com, and they're all laughing. I don't know what they're laughing about. But anyway, just go to our website. All the links are there, the Facebook and all that stuff. And
watch us live.
Google Hangouts. We're live streaming, so you can get in the chat room there.
We're going to give Blab a break for a little while.
Yeah. Oh,
no,
it's done that while I was talking, I guess.
Yeah, it was fine wherever you had it. If you just, I promise you, it's got some static in the knob.
There.
See,
I think
that's a lot.
Something's up with that.
Yeah, it is. It's very static.
Okay. I'm good right now.
We're doing live tech help right here.
That's right. We're sitting here trying to troubleshoot the
right
board
on the
here.
show. Yeah. Right, exactly. So, well, I hope everyone has had a great week this week. And
I'll be glad when it's over. And next week's going to be sunny, right?
I hope so.
Yeah, I think I saw like 70-something degrees like next Tuesday.
Well, the thing is, we did have some sunny days, but we were stuck inside trying. Well, some of us were stuck inside trying to deal with all kind of things.
I never saw daylight.
Yeah, you could. Yeah, I never saw daylight.
I don't have a window.
Yes. Hey, I do want to bring something out though, real quick. Something that I didn't tell either of you guys about I was going to do. By the way, two things. I have a little. I have a little housekeeping, I guess you want to say, really. But my grandmother, she turned 88 today.
Congratulations!
Feliz cumpleaños,
Mama Brown, and 88 years young.
Wow.
So, yeah. And
That's awesome.
And another thing that's been going on for the last several weeks that I find amazing, absolutely amazing, and he may get on to me in just a minute, but Bruce has actually found a half social network that he will actually peruse.
Say it ain't so,
and
folks.
be a part
Say it ain't
of.
so.
Yes, he will. And not only that, even goes so far as to comment.
Yeah.
To comment a lot.
Because, see, I've got Snapchat, but I never posted anything.
Sure.
It's mostly just for a couple of my buddies that post stuff on their working board.
But if any of you are
Saving
listening
lives.
and you're in this area and you see a smart aleck on Yik Yak, it's probably Bruce.
No, it's not.
You're
blowing my cover.
It might
it's supposed to be anonymous.
Yeah, right. It might likely. I think some people found out recently that anonymous is not real reality for a lot of
Yeah,
things.
I mean it's semi-anonymous.
Semi-anonymous. But
There's
I'm just
nothing
amazed
that's
that
anonymous.
you use it.
Yeah. Well, it's been kind of fun.
No.
I actually had. I'm not going to say which conversation it was, but a very close buddy of mine knows I'm not just anti-social media,
Sure.
and I had to bring up a conversation about what I had. He just started crying. He was, I cannot believe that was you.
Yeah.
He said that whole conversation was hilarious.
I can't believe it's you either. Trust me, and I know you're doing it.
Yeah.
I'm like, you're not really putting
So
stuff.
it's
on
fun, but I try to remain informative while I'm doing it. So
Yeah.
it's all with good intentions,
there. Mm.
but also it's fun.
Now, my
So-
wife, before I left, she was asking if we had any, really great superstar guests. I said, we're on the show.
We're back.
We're back. Why do we need a superstar guest? I mean, people really would like to, if you tune into this show, you're really going to want to hear what we have to say. We got great opinions on all kind of different subjects.
I think I have great opinions.
Absolutely. Just ask us.
If not, I'll put it on.
But she said, well, you really need an astronaut. And I said, yeah, it'd be great to have an astronaut.
We're working on that.
Yeah, we'd really
as soon as they call back.
correct, right? And she said, well, Bruce applied, right? And I said, yeah. She said, well, that might qualify for an astronaut. I said, I don't know about that one.
Applicant.
Yeah, an applicant. Yeah, maybe. But speaking of that, did you see?
I should put that on my resume.
Did you? Yeah. Did you see that NASA is begin to work on bringing back supersonic passenger travel?
I have heard about that.
I missed that.
Yeah.
I cannot believe you missed that.
Yeah, I can't either.
I have been so no time to do reading or anything.
Oh,
mean,
I know.
These last 2 weeks have been
Then
busy.
that means this week in tech history is going to be really interesting.
I have
Maybe.
seen it, so it may be.
You've seen it. Okay. Again, stay tuned. You'll find out what we're talking about.
You'll have to stay tuned to the second hour of the Hey Techies Show to find out what this week in tech history is all about. But yeah, the NASA, they're working to build, and then of course there's a concept of it, but they want to build a supersonic jet that has very low boom. That was one of the issues.
Yeah.
You can only it'll make the really noisy
if I'm not
boom.
mistaken, the whole
tell you
reason
what-
for the boom was because you were started traveling faster than the speed of sound. So how is it supersonic but no boom?
It is the design of it. They have figured out how they believe to design.
Somebody call Miami Rick.
Yeah.
Let's get him on the show.
Listen, now I'm just telling you what I read. I
Okay.
didn't say this is not built. This is an idea. This is a concept. They think they have figured out a way to mitigate the waves that come off the plane when you go faster than that. They're sort of slowing them down, maybe.
Yeah.
Okay.
And try to. It's almost like what the stealth.
It's almost
It's-
like throwing a rock in water, not creating waves.
Yeah, basically.
Creating ripples.
Yeah.
They're trying to stop the
Now here
ripples.
again, I'm not saying they're going to be able to do it.
Yeah, now you said that. There's other things that I've read about, like with large ships. They put this thing out on the front of the bow
Yes.
to try to cut
it's-
down on resistance, which makes it be more efficient.
Yeah.
passenger airliners have like the little, they call them sharklets or winglets that come up, at the end of the wing. It sticks up. And
Yeah.
they're supposed to be more efficient. Now, I probably am not saying that right, so we'll have to get a aviation expert to talk about that. But that'd be interesting to see.
Yeah.
'Cause I think
The
I have to
faster,
agree with what one of our guests said a couple weeks ago. That's one thing that we've just kind of
Go faster.
we've really not made any advances there in 30,
Yeah.
40 years in terms of that from a passenger airline type, because basically this is 1960s technology.
Oh yeah.
And when you go fly on Delta or whatever airline today, it's 1960s technology.
They're calling it a low boom flight.
low boom.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like,
I tell you what, there's a
ooh.
big boom on campus today. That thunder rolling in.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
At one
man,
time
it's-
it was raining, snowing,
Snowing,
sleeting, thunder and lightning.
That's
all
right.
at once. Only in Alabama, folks, in the spring.
And I did see a snowflake that looked like a snowball falling from the sky out my
Uh-oh.
window. It was crazy. I literally, some of them snowflakes were $half size. Unbelievable. Just all of a sudden, and then in the next second, rain. It is what it
and
is.
thunder and lightning.
Yeah.
Oh my.
Hey Techies Show will be right back.
Stay with us.
Don't go anywhere. There's more in the queue lined up just for you.
Stress of Jacksonville has been serving the Jacksonville community for over a decade. They are located at 500 Forney Avenue, right next to the cockpit. Strutt serves wings, beer, and more. Their business hours are Sunday through Thursday, 11 a.m. to 9 p.m., and Friday and Saturday, 11 a.m. to 10 p.m. To place a to-go order, please call 256-782-0106. For more information, go to struttswings.com.
Looking to cure that sweet tooth of yours? Mad Hatter Cupcake Shop is now proudly serving the Jacksonville area at their new location at 16 Public Square on the Square. Mad Hatter is open Tuesday through Saturday from 11 to 9 p.m. and they are closed on Sunday and Monday. For additional information, be sure to check out their Facebook page, www.facebook.com/Mad Hat Cupcakes, and their website, www.madhatcakes.com.
Red Threads Apparel carries a wide selection of t-shirt designs for every school function, work party, and much more. They also offer custom layouts for monogrammed attire. Red Threads Apparel is located at 16 Square Unit 8 in downtown Jacksonville on the Square. Their business hours are Monday through Friday, 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. For more information on Red Threads powered by O-Brand, visit their Facebook page at O-Brand Marketing or call 256-770-9880.
Welcome back to the Hey Techies Show. Guru's having way too much fun.
I think that's a inside joke there.
Yes, it is. Guru, did you watch that as a young man?
Yes, I did.
Young kid?
Yes.
Yeah.
That was one of my favorite shows growing up.
Yeah. Yeah, it was a good show.
Never know
For
what kind of songs we're gonna play as bumper music.
You
on
know,
the
I need
show.
to look that up. I want to say there's, I guess you can say it's a conspiracy theory about Inspector Gadget. I can't remember what it was, but it seems like it's pretty interesting. I think it was about, because we never find out who Dr. Claw is, right?
Right.
Yeah.
So, man, I need to look that up.
He has a cat, though,
Yeah, he has a cat.
which is another takeoff of the 007 series.
Oh, is it?
Yes.
Okay.
So I'm gonna have to look up this conspiracy theory because I know I've read one about a cartoon I love, SpongeBob, but it being set in Bikini Bottom, and that's where they did a lot of the atomic bomb test, and so anytime there's a character or whatever, like they go off and explode, it's that mushroom cloud, and
Oh,
there's a whole lot of other stuff with that.
That was before my I'll not say before my time. I was already not watching cartoons when that became popular. So, anyway.
Oh, actually, I had a conversation with this about somebody yesterday because I said something about that show, and all these other people are the same age. And they're like, I didn't grow up with that show. I was like, whatever, 90s kids. And they're like, that didn't come out in the 90s. I was like, I guarantee you it did. And they're like, no, it didn't. I was like, I guarantee it came out in 99. We looked it up. I was right.
Sure you were.
So
of course.
So the reality is you weren't a kid when you were watching it.
Oh, no, I still watch it.
Yeah, that's more like it. Yeah, the truth comes out.
I love it. While you're talking, I'm going to read about Dr. Claus, the real Inspector Gadget. That's conspiracy theory.
Oh,
So,
you heard it here first, folks.
yeah. Well, no, you didn't. Unless you're just like,
Unless you
really
actually,
just you may have.
What's ironic, I have just now heard it here. I did not know that.
I heard it here first too.
Yes.
And
Of
probably
course.
some of our listeners, that's probably before their time, Inspector Gadget.
That's
so they're
true.
just like, well, who's this
Yeah.
Inspector
That
Gadget
was a
dude?
good show.
Yeah.
I suppose
It
was.
probably is horrible now.
If Micah's listening, he may have watched it. I don't know.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Sure.
Whatever you say.
Yeah, whatever I say. Well, look, like we said, there's tons of tech-related stuff going on in the news. And did you know, Bruce, you probably saw it, that Google says it does bear some responsibility after one of its self-driving cars hit a bus?
No, I didn't see that.
Yes.
It
So-
bears some responsibility.
Yes.
What is? Do tell.
Okay, so do you remember a while back we were discussing the other articles about that some people were saying that because it doesn't really, the AI was not where a human factor might be able to move around an obstacle if you've got to go around a double.
Oh yeah,
yellow line,
yeah,
blah,
yeah.
blah, blah.
We're saying if like there was a traffic jam.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay, so this thing stopped and went around something, okay, at 2 miles an hour now. 2 miles an hour
Okay.
this thing is going, and it actually would have made it had it if it went faster. It would have made it, but a bus coming the other direction would not give it room, so they collided a little bit, damaging the bumper of the vehicle. And the bus was going at 15 miles an hour.
Oh.
So
So it was being too cautious.
Yes.
For its own good.
yes, so to speak. But I guess Google is saying, though, well, we would assume the bus would give the car the right of way. The bus driver would give the car the right of way since it was already going around an obstacle. You know, that's basically
Yeah.
that's their view.
Well, I mean,
that's
how
why-
does that work in the eyes of the law? Who's at fault?
I don't know. I don't even think that they covered that. It basically was, yeah, I guess it was sort of our fault.
We were going 2 miles an hour.
Yeah,
and
and
the
there-
bus was going 15.
Yeah, the 2 miles an hour thing was probably basically because the thing doesn't go fast anyway, A. And B, it was at a full stop and then restarted its process of moving around another vehicle.
Yeah,
I
right-
think it was around another vehicle.
Right now, they're only using it like top speed is 25 or 30.
Yeah,
miles an
it's
hour,
25,
isn't it?
man. I
25.
think it-
Yeah, so they're doing it in like basically places like Jacksonville where the speed limit's 25.
Well,
Whether you want to go 25 or not.
So, you know,
4:30. That's all you're going.
I will say this. This is all hearsay, so don't take what I'm saying as gospel. But I have heard that, you know, on the main drag the speed limit's 25, and I heard because it is a state highway.
That's correct.
That is, they legally can't enforce 25 miles an hour. Like there's a minimum that it has to be.
Oh,
So if you get a ticket, you can possibly fight that, and you are still within your legal limits. That is what I have heard. I've never gotten a speeding
the
ticket.
only thing that I would be interested in to find out
Yeah.
if that crosswalk changes that speed limit.
Well, they need to build a tunnel or an overpass
yeah,
or
but
something.
that's a state thing.
I know.
that's not a
Yeah, and
local
see, that's
thing.
the thing. They got to get state funding for that.
you
But
may cross
somebody,
Pelham
to
Street.
me,
Yeah.
to me, the
But I'm
city should just
The-
safety comes first.
The one
Like,
I'm
I don't
talking
care who
about,
pays
and
for it.
nobody, if somebody's listening away, you're not going to know about this. We have a building, Merrill and Brewer, and there is
Yeah.
a large crosswalk that crosses 4 lanes of traffic, and it's a major thoroughfare, north and south around here, Alabama Highway 21. But anyway, So that's where one of the areas that I'm talking about is that crosswalk is dangerous. I mean,
absolutely.
I slow down as a state vehicle that's driving through there. I'm always very slow. I usually have to turn into Brewer anyway. So, but
Michael just drives slow anyway.
Yeah, sometimes. But anyway,
there's many times I pass him going home.
Sure. Well,
I'm like, man, what is people going slow for? This is down here with 65. People going like 40, and it's like, there's Michael.
And nobody.
Hey.
Yeah.
I'm just.
That's
joking.
a little bit of useless information.
Yes.
Okay, so Apple. Now, so if I could bring us up to speed here, basically, in a nutshell, Apple is still saying the same thing. We don't want to build this, and for the same reasons. And if you did not hear it, I want to encourage everybody that's interested in this. There is a great interview by David Muir from ABC News that happened last week. We're going to play a few clips here in just a minute. We can't play it all, obviously, because that would be we just can't be against copyright. But we can play a few clips. I believe I can get away with that. Well, anyway, long story short, it's very interesting, very telling on some of the stuff. There is an uncut version. It's about 29 minutes, and it's on the ABC.com website, abcnews.com website, and actually we'll post a link out there in the show notes later. But it is really worth the listen because it is pretty amazing to me. Some of his answers, it's very telling, and I don't know. I find it all fascinating. He to me, it sounds like he has a real good concept of liberties in what they should be. And the reasons for having liberties, I was very impressed, actually. David Muir did a good job of asking questions. And like I said, I know I'm touting it, but sometimes I don't listen to these things because the news media, they drive me crazy. But this was a really good interview. I thought they did a good job with it. And I think it answers some questions. I think it clears up some things. I think he was he was not coy. He was very upfront. And it's very interesting to me, Bruce, that now Congress is trying to get involved. I mean, of course, you knew that was going to happen.
Oh yeah,
Eventually,
I mean, Congress is like there was. Trying to remember who it was, but they were basically. I don't understand why they're asking the director of the FBI this. They were like, "Do you think this is something the court should decide, or is this something that Congress should decide? This should be up to Congress?" And I'm like, why are they asking him? Like, and he's like, well, I definitely think our courts are competent enough to take care of it, blah, 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 blah. And he's like, but just answer my question. Would you rather see Congress take care of this or, the judicial system? And I mean, of course, that guy's a congressman. He's like, say Congress. It's like, and he's like, well, let me answer for you. Congress needs to be the one to take care of this.
Yeah, so
because it will get me votes.
Yeah, I don't know about that one. But anyway, so the one thing that has happened is there was another ruling that had anything to do with this iPhone. Okay, it had something to do with another situation, with another phone, and in a New York Circuit judge, I think I've got that right, he said, no, you can't do this. You can't make them get into it, and he gave a couple of pretty good reasons, I thought. Let's see, one of them was...
you just can't do it.
No, there was reasons, and it slipped my mind, and that's so irritating.
I saw the headline, and that's all I really didn't dig into it.
No, he had some good reasoning behind it, and I think that Steve Jobs, listen, wow, I've brought him back from the dead. Tim Cook, sorry, Steve. Sorry, Tim.
Sorry.
Just sorry in general. But no, Tim Cook, I think, was on the same lines, and maybe maybe this judge hurt him. I don't know, but it was that's not a direct decision on this decision. This is another case totally,
but it can set a precedent,
and that's what Steve's concerned about. Tim, you know what it is? Well, every time I'll tell you what it is. Every time I think of Apple, I think of Steve Jobs. I mean, he's like,
really?
Yeah, I just do. He was Apple.
I think of the Woz.
Well, the Woz is certainly, but Tim Cook's at the head. I don't want to keep saying the wrong word.
That's all right. We'll give you a pass tonight.
I doubt it. I highly doubt it. Yeah, for now. So,
So,
Okay.
so,
So
well, I was gonna say something that I think that has come out of this is Amazon has now removed encryption from all its tablet devices.
yeah, the Fire. Is that?
Well, that's their tablet device.
So
I was thinking that was it. I thought I
their
read that
Fire,
article.
Fire Phone, Fire TV.
Oh, I read a different article. It was only. I thought it was talking about the older devices.
I mean it's basically part of an update, and it's
No.
and they're saying after this update, encryption is no longer supported, so you can stay on the current version until you're ready. And to me, that's a big concern.
Or until your device breaks because they only honor it for 90 days. That's a whole other conversation.
But so I mean, to me, this is. Don't get me wrong. I like Amazon. It is very convenient, and I like their Prime services. But I don't own any of their tablets. I know somebody that owns so much of them that whenever the Echo was invite only, he changed his mind about 7 times, and anytime he asked, they were like, yes, immediately here. You can now purchase it, and he never did. But that kind of, to me, plays into the stuff with their Echo, because they've just come out with the Tap, and I forget what the other one's called. It's basically a battery powered Echo. That's maybe that one's the Tap. What's the small one? What's the hockey puck one?
Oh yeah, I know what you're talking about.
The Tap is the one that's the battery, and the. Please help me out here. You got to know what it's called. The Dot.
The Dot.
The Dot is.
There it is. Hey, yes, the Dot.
The Dot is basically the Echo without the big speaker. So, and if I know we've talked about the Echo in the past, and it has, I think, 10 microphones built into it, so it's always listening.
That's 10 too many for me.
Yeah, me too. 10. Jeez.
Yep. So I mean, this is a surveillance state's, just say dream. The only way it could get better is if it had a camera built into it. Oh.
I remember now what the judge was. Two things. One, he did not feel that the All Writs, which were written back in 1789, the All Writs Act, applied in this situation. I'm not exactly sure if he thought it was just too old or what exactly the sanctions were. He didn't feel that it let's see. He expressed doubts that the All Writs Act sanctions the government requested of Apple.
I
read it could be applied.
I read it 2 weeks ago, and I remember thinking, and I was going to talk about it last week, but now I've even forgot what is even in it. But I was kind of like, how does this apply? Because, I mean, it's just kind of it is so broadly generalized.
Also, there was a 1994 law. This is what I meant to look up.
Okay.
Called CALEA.
Oh, no. We talked about this. Isn't this the judge in New York?
Yes, but we hadn't talked.
Cited.
No. This was after our show. This was just this
I
past
know.
week.
Yeah. That's what I'm saying.
Well, I didn't tell.
Okay.
I just remembered the reasons why.
All right.
He said.
Do tell.
Let's see. The law that requires telecommunication companies to provide certain information and assistance to law enforcement. Congress debated expanding this to include companies like Apple, but ultimately did not do so. In that. So basically he was saying, hey, Congress has already picked up this issue and laid it down and decided that it
did not
you couldn't
go
do that.
outside of
Right. So
well, my thing is I want to say it was the FBI director even stated no, I'm sorry. It was maybe the chief of police for San Bernardino even stated that we may get in this phone and there's nothing there. Like they really don't have a good case to say we need to search it because we think this stuff is on it. They're just like, well, nothing may be there.
All right, Guru. So number 24. Let me start off here. So David Muir asked Tim Cook, not Steve Jobs, but Steve Spirit might have been in the building. Help people at home understand what you mean when you say the FBI wants you to create a separate system that would get you into that phone. Right now they have an iPhone, the passcode on the front, like we all get to use in our iPhones, or if you don't have an iPhone. And after a certain number of tries, it just auto erases the phone?
What they want is they want us to develop a new operating system that takes out the security precautions, including the precaution that after 10 tries, if somebody has set erase all data after 10, they want that to not be in there. And then they want a ability to go through a number of passwords at the speed of a modern computer.
A computer would do that to
A
figure out the
computer
code.
would do that. And so that is what they're asking for. We believe that is a very dangerous operating system.
Yep. So it was not. He's saying it was the operating system that they want to build. They want them to do the whole thing, the whole kit and caboodle. And I'd read some articles where some people are saying, well, they probably could just write some code that would go in front of that, like the firmware code that would actually turn that off. But I think his view of it is they would have to write an entire OS.
Right, and I agree 100%. And that's what we talked about 2 weeks ago when we talked about this initially.
Yeah.
You know, the device is locked; it's encrypted.
Yeah.
The only way to make any changes is by replacing the operating system, which can be done with it being locked, but it requires Apple's intervention and help. And like he just said, that's not what they're going to do, obviously. But I lost my train of thought. But anyway, I'm sorry.
No, that's okay.
Well, I know that one of the things I was watching, I'm trying to remember who it was, asked the FBI director, he was like, could you not just clone this, basically take what is essentially the hard drive, non-volatile memory out of this, clone it how many ever times you want, and then just run it, run the clone, like destroy the clone and not the actual thing. And I mean, he was like, have you even explored that? And the what is the FBI director's name?
Mueller, isn't it?
I want to say it is.
I think
that
so.
was one of them.
So
was that the current one?
Whoever was,
I'm sorry,
whoever
I should
was,
know this.
Yeah, whoever was there before this committee, he was kind of like, well, I can't state whether they've explored that or not, but he said we've explored all the possibilities.
Trust us, we're the government.
Yeah. So I don't know. I mean, I understand some of it is convenience for them, but when you say that you don't even know what's on the phone, I'm just like, well, stop there. Like, if you can't tell me exactly what you're looking for, then no search warrant granted.
Well, he continues and he says, I'm curious, did you ever think that you find yourself at the center of such a crucial national debate?
No. This is not a position that we would like to be in. It is a very uncomfortable position. To oppose your government on something doesn't feel good. And to oppose it on something where we are advocating for civil liberties, which they are supposed to protect, it is incredibly ironic. But this is where we find ourselves. And for all of those people who want to have a voice, but they're afraid, we are standing up. And we are standing up for our customers because protecting them, we view, is our job. And I hope, and I think, I'm very optimistic, I think we will come together. And I don't know what will happen, but I think we will come together and there will be one path forward. The U.S. always comes out of these things well. But I feel very good that the debate is going on. Even when people disagree with us, it is good that the debate is happening. That's what makes this country so special.
So I think he's got it right. I think he's serious. He's got the liberty aspect right. He sees where this goes. Look, I understand, and I wish I could play all these for. It was a great interview. I've got it. I broke it all down. It really was because there's some things in there. He asked him about, hey, people are going to say this is a terrorist phone. And he says, Bruce, he says, some things are right and some things are hard, and this is one of those things.
Yeah.
This is hard and right. And I think that's, I know it is, well, some people don't, I view it as a terror. I know we had this discussion last time, but I view it as a terrorist phone. And it is true. Hey, it is true. They may not find anything else on it.
Yeah.
There's no question about that. They may and they may not. We don't know whether there's anything else on it. But is it worth trampling over everybody else's rights to get to it?
Not.
I don't think so either. And Benjamin Franklin didn't think so either.
Right. And 2 weeks ago, I keep saying last week, but anyway,
Yeah, 2 weeks
I was
ago,
very
sorry.
critical of the FBI. I'm 100% for Apple on this. And I'll be critical with Apple. I'm just not saying it because I'm the Apple juicer.
Yeah.
I'm critical of the Apple when I need to be critical about them, in my opinion, when they're wrong. But yeah, I'm for Apple here, but I hate it that these terrorists are doing this stuff to us. And I know the FBI wants all the information they can get, but at what cost? That's the thing. What cost? It's going to cost everybody's privacy in the process, and that's too big a price to pay. I'm sorry.
With this, I feel like he shouldn't have to look beyond. I know it's probably going to seem narcissistic, but he shouldn't look beyond the U.S. when he says our customers, because we are definitely supposed to be a free country, and there's a lot at stake here. But when he says our customers, thinking about that, he's like, this is going to have. We're supposed to be the freest nation in the world, and then you've got these other countries that have customers in these countries, and now they're going to be asked to basically be the tyrants for these governments,
Right?
And so it's he is definitely, they are protecting they're protecting those that aren't protected.
Yeah. And he said that in greater way. David goes on, and I heard you say there's a great hope still that you can come together on this. You don't know how it will happen, but you hope it will happen. But are you prepared to take this all the way to the Supreme Court?
We would be prepared to take this issue all the way, yes, because I think it's that important for America. This should not be decided court by court by court. If you decide that it's okay to force a company to do something that they think is bad for hundreds of millions of people, then think about this for a minute. And this case is an awful case. There is no worse case than this case. But there may be a judge in a different district that feels that this case should apply to a divorce case. There may be one in the next state over that thinks it should apply in a tax case. Another state over, it should apply in a robbery. And so you begin to say, wait a minute, this isn't how this should happen. If there is going to be a law, then it should be done out in the open for people so their voices are heard through their representatives in Congress.
And if Congress decided that there is this small category, this is a terrorist iPhone, if Congress decided that American people signed off on that, you would entertain it?
Now, let me be clear. At the end of the day, we have to follow the law. Just like everybody else, we have to follow the law. What is going on right now is we're having our voices be heard. And I would encourage everyone that has a voice on here or that wants to have a voice and wants to have an opinion to make sure their voice is heard.
It was a great interview, and I would encourage everybody that really is interested in freedom. What you laughing
It's
about?
like, Tim Cook, we appreciate you coming on the show.
Yeah, no. It was on abcnews.com, and you can go find the whole thing on there.
Yeah,
But
I was like,
I just
"What?
wanted to
I
play a
think
few
it was
clips
a-"
of it, but it's
No,
very
it was,
fascinating.
Yeah, it was.
And he mentioned about he wanted Congress involved. He didn't want this stuck in the courts. He's concerned about the precedent that would set.
Yeah.
And could go on for years and years and years. I'm not saying that Congress would be any better, but I do understand his point. His point is, hey, Congress is of representatives of people who vote. They can vote. Supposed to be. I know it does. Look, we can get into that issue, but we're talking about.
But this should be a question to be brought up before Congress.
Yeah.
No matter what side of the debate you're on, that's where the whole democracy kicks in.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, I agree. So we'll be talking more about this. That like we said 2 weeks ago, this is going to be a long process. It's not going
far
to
from
be.
over, folks.
Yeah. Hey, Techies Show. Be right back.
Stay with us.
Tech questions? We have answers. Give us a call, 256-782-5600.
Gamecock Outfitters, located on the square at 109 Ladica Street in Jacksonville, provides customers with outdoor apparel and gear. Gamecock Outfitters is able to help you find exactly what you need for every outdoor adventure. Gamecock Outfitters is open Tuesday through Friday from 10 o'clock to 5:30 and Saturday from 10 o'clock to 5 o'clock. For additional information, contact them at 256-435-2008 or check out their website at GadsdenOutfitters.com.
Jacksonville Bookstore offers supplies for school all throughout the year. From books to binders, pencils to Scantrons, Jacksonville Bookstore has it all. They are open Monday through Saturday with convenient hours and location on 302 Mountain Street Northwest in Jacksonville. To find out more, like them on Facebook or call 256-435-7407. Jacksonville Bookstore, a proud patron of WLJS.
Jacksonville Tan is a proud patron of WLJS, serving Jacksonville and surrounding areas since 1987. At their location at 115 Francis Street East, next to Walgreens. Jacksonville Tan knows a thing or two about healthy glow, offering 16 tanning beds and virtually no wait times. A great tan is never out of the question. For more info, call them at 256-435-1770.
This is 91.9 FM, WLJS Jacksonville, your cure for common radio.
Welcome back to the Hey Techies Show. No lonely hearts here. Yeah. We got an email from one of our listeners.
So we've gotten some questions about the
By the way, thanks, Jason, for your email. And thanks for listening. We deeply appreciate it.
So we'll call it what the media is calling it, I guess, the JSU hack. We cannot state a lot of things because it still is an ongoing investigation. Just know most of what's been reported in the media is accurate, but not all of it, because they've kind of done their own independent reporting and have mixed some words. But I would say follow the official story with any communication that the university has put out.
Yes. University statements either from our website or on our Facebook page. They've done that.
And once this is all said and done with, we'll know exactly what we can and can't say, which I think by once it's a closed case, we'll probably be able to be a lot more open about it. But I would say most of it is you really have nothing to worry about, that it's being taken care of. So.
Yeah. But students understandably are concerned.
Yeah, they're concerned.
And I've had some questions too, and we've had to be coy. So
so just know that we've always been honest on the show, but just know that since it is an ongoing investigation, there's just stuff we can't say.
Right. And we're not going to. So unfortunately.
Unless
I'm just kidding.
Unless there's enough money involved.
Guru, calm down.
6 figures maybe. 7.
Guru's heading for the door.
We can start talking.
All right, Jason, you think you got 7?
I will write a book.
You're gonna write the book. Hey, speaking of that, I haven't watched any of it, but the O.J. Simpson
I want the movie rights.
trials on the O.J. Simpson trials on TV.
Yeah,
been going on. I haven't seen it.
That was
256-782-5600, and we would absolutely love to take your call and
about anything you want to talk about.
including
all this Apple FBI stuff.
That's right, including anything we can actually talk about.
Yes, legally.
So anyway, but we appreciate very much our listeners, all of our listeners, and thank you so much for listening and emailing us and letting us know. So
you said at the beginning of the show something about a guest. Are we planning on having any guests coming up soon?
yeah, not anytime soon.
Okay, because I thought I saw something.
No, I've
whenever
been
I was
trying to get some more.
Whenever
It's
I was
not-
dropping off my notes,
and I'll be honest
in the drive.
with you, as you've been busy, I've been busy too. So
Yeah.
we've all been pretty swamped. And
I want to say somewhere in there was a guest, or maybe it was something you were writing. I don't know. There was something I saw that said something about a guest.
don't know.
No.
It didn't come from me.
No.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well,
I mean,
anyways.
we're gonna try to get an astronaut on.
Well, I'm
From
telling
space.
you, as soon as
Let's just. I mean, since I'm not going to get it on
Yeah.
anyway, I might as well just build it up real high from Mars.
From Mars.
An astronaut from Mars, and then we get him on, and it turns out to be that actor. What's his name? And does all the movies. Born, the Born Identity actor.
Matt Damon.
Matt Damon. Yeah, it's Matt Damon from Mars.
I like Matt Damon.
Yeah.
I'll say this: I'm not into celebrity news or anything like that at all.
Right.
And I didn't watch the Oscars, but I have seen all the news about Leo getting his,
Yes.
and I think he handled it pretty well. Pretty class act right there. The way he handled getting it. So
Okay.
If you say so.
If you say
if you
so.
say so. Well, he's a pretty good actor.
I got to bring up something that I wished I had followed, because on this show I have recommended this product, and so I didn't.
You
I'll
have?
Yes,
We've recommended something.
I have.
Okay.
Before, not necessarily you, but I have, and that's Linux Mint. And Linux Mint
Oh.
has been hacked. I did not realize this. It actually happened back on somewhere around the 20th or 22nd of February. They were actually, their site was hacked, and somebody put on a hacked version of the OS to download, and many people downloaded it, and then he had access to their boxes once they had it up and running. And of course, they've been hacked twice since that happened. They thought they had it fixed. And I've read several different individuals post, and it's just, I was out to lunch on this. I didn't realize that was going on. I don't have a hacked version, but if you did, and if I, what?
I don't have a hacked version.
I don't. I didn't download it during this time period. It had to been during this time. And I found out later, after really digging, that even some, like for instance, I think it was from the site. If you went to some of the mirrors, they weren't hacked.
They weren't, yeah.
What they did is they hacked the link, so it pointed somewhere else to where they had the hacked version.
Redirected it.
Yeah, they hacked their page.
Gotcha.
Is what happened.
So I'm an idiot.
No, you're not.
Yeah, because it was where you had the title for the David Muir Cook interview.
Oh,
because I just saw interview. I was like, I guess we got a guest.
Oh, I see what you're saying.
So even when I see something, I'm pay attention to the
we had guests via iPad. I guess if you
Yeah.
want to say it that way.
So I was like, I know I saw it somewhere. I was like, but I surely didn't open anything
And of
up to
course,
read it.
Speaking of those type things, we found out this week, and I guess it was over the weekend, that the IRS was hacked twice as bad as they thought.
Yes.
Oh.
Not only that. So they got hacked a while back, and they eventually come up with a number of like 724,000. Does that sound about right?
Sure.
And they handed out these pins.
Yes, I know.
Well, the same way that they got in, they use that same technology.
Oh no, I
The
didn't.
pins, yes.
Wow.
So it was like a kind of like what a KBA, like a knowledge base.
Yes. Okay.
So it would give you questions like, have you lived here in the past, stuff like
Right.
that. Stuff that if you dock somebody, you're easily gonna get that information.
Right.
So they offered a portal that if they forgot their pin, basically
Oh no, they did
yes, and people have been hacked
not.
again.
Oh my gosh, people.
So it's like I had this pin, so it's like there's a place to do a pin retrieval, and
And they were able to hack the pin retrieval system in order to get pins.
because they were doing the exact same thing that caused them to get hacked in the first, and it wasn't really. I mean, yes, it's a hack, but I mean it was very.
It's a breach more.
It was
maybe.
very low tech. It's not like they were sitting there,
Right.
scripting stuff. It was just here, I'll go type some stuff in, and it asks for this information. Here's the answer.
Speaking of that, I found out from an accountant.
It wasn't very Hollywood-esque.
That attends our church. That those pins are set up because your account's been hacked.
Yes.
And that way your preparer can use that pin so that you are not, so they know you are you.
Yes. But.
Yeah, that's bad, Bruce.
Yeah.
Good grief.
I mean, but hey, whatever.
Here's the thing with the IRS hack. Some other person said this. I can't take credit. These retailers have got hacked in the past. Home Depot, Target. You can say, well, I'm not going to shop there anymore. Well,
I see where this is going.
I'm not shopping with IRS anymore.
You have no choice if you're a U.S. if you can work in the United States and you make money here, you have to shop with the IRS, so to speak. That's the bad part.
Yeah. I wish we had a really good tax attorney that listened, because I would like to know if from the day that I started working, if I never agreed from that very first paycheck for any federal taxes to be taken out of my check, do I ever have to pay them? Like the very first time did I start some sort of contract? Could I have chosen back then to not have ever entered that contract? I want to know. So if we have some genius attorney listening that knows that answer,
because they listen. Genius attorneys do.
Let's just interview Donald Trump. He has all the answers.
Oh yeah, can't stump the Trump man.
That's right.
Oh gosh.
Apocalypse 2016.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah, man, I am.
Okay.
Let's not talk about politics. It's too close to the primaries.
It really is, but
if you want to talk about politics, go watch tonight. The debate's going on one of the news networks.
I'm sure people are not listening to this.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I understand.
I would probably be watching it too if I was at home.
Speaking of, there was a show on Sunday night on this very station.
Yeah.
That was didn't talk politics. It was a couple of guys just sitting around talking politics and covering.
What's the name of the show?
Three guys talking politics.
No, it was not. It's not the name of the show. I don't know how many guys it was. It was a few. I couldn't tell.
Yeah, we'll have to look out on the board during the break, we can tell our listeners to.
It was on Sunday night.
Cross promotion.
That's right.
We give it out all the time.
Here's what's amazing. This has got a tech angle to it. Where most people, not Bruce, most people are. Have a social media account of some sort, Twitter, Facebook, or all or none. Well, most people have at least one. But anyway, this primary Super Tuesday we just passed a couple days ago. I mean, all these states that had primaries, they're all reporting record turnouts. And I think you can attribute a lot of that to just whether you follow the candidates on their social media platforms or just seeing what other people are posting and talking about. I mean, back 10 years ago, we were not at this level where we could do this. You would just kind of talk around the kitchen table at dinner, and when cable news existed, you could talk about, you see more of it there. But I can remember being younger, before I could vote. It was just what family said, and what the news reported. It wasn't all this interacting with everybody, and that's the tech angle to it, obviously. But I think it's a good thing that everybody is. Whether no matter who you're for, what candidate you're for, what stance you're for, it's just at least. But one thing I will say is just because it's on the internet, it's not necessarily true. So check.
Yeah, it is. I read it on the internet.
Because I read something today about something. I was like, that is not true.
It was on Yik Had to be true.
So just don't take what you get on there for face value.
What'd you read? I'm curious.
Speaking of that. Guru just must have planned this because it went right along with this next little story.
Of course.
Did you know that a German court ruled Facebook may block pseudonyms?
I've heard that.
Pseudonames? Where you cannot have...
Like the Guru?
Yeah, you cannot have you have to use your real name on Facebook now because another court in Hamburg had said...
Well, there's already some countries that are doing this.
I thought it was you couldn't set up... They were basically saying you couldn't set up an account to pose as someone else, as a realistic person.
Well, I thought it was like if your name didn't sound real, they would say, sorry.
Yeah, I was thinking that
Facebook got in trouble for doing that, period. Like Facebook, just because they were like, you have to use a real name, and they were there were some people that just had bizarre
Well, I think there's
names.
there's some laws in some countries that's why they had to do that.
Well, I mean, I know in China they you can't use puns.
I thought Facebook was blocked in China.
It probably is.
Now Facebook may prevent its users from using fake names. A German court said on Thursday, overturning a previous order from the Hamburg Data Protection Authority. So I think that's what they're talking about. Anyway, well, look, we're fixing to be ready to move on to our dose.
Our dose. Stay with us. Oh, I guess we're not going.
Yeah, we are.
We are going.
Yeah, we are. I'm sorry.
So
okay.
stick with us for our number dose on the Hey Techies Show.
Be right back.
You've listened this long, so stick around for our dose.
Live from NPR News in Washington, I'm Jack Speer. Early voting began today in North Carolina, which is holding a primary on March the 15th. It's the first test of the state's controversial photo ID law. NPR's Pam Fessler reports advocates and election officials are watching to see what happens.
The law requires that North Carolina voters now show a government-issued photo ID at the polls. Opponents are challenging the law in court. They say it will disenfranchise some voters, but the state says it's been trying to make sure that anyone who needs an ID gets one, and that those who face what's called a reasonable impediment to getting an ID, such as a lack of transportation, can still vote. Ted Fitzgerald leads the state outreach effort.
Our expectations are that no one is turned away or told they can't vote because of this photo ID requirement.
Voter advocacy groups plan to have hundreds of volunteers watching the polls to make sure. Pam Fessler, NPR News.
In what some are billing as the GOP's Stop Trump effort, former Republican presidential contender Mitt Romney told an audience at the University of Utah today the billionaire businessman is, quote, dangerous and a fake. Romney also said if Trump becomes the GOP nominee, the result will be a weaker nation.
If we Republicans choose Donald Trump as our nominee, the prospects for a safe and prosperous future are greatly diminished.
Romney, who lost to Barack Obama in 2012, said Trump lacks the temperament to be in the Oval Office. The Republicans should choose any of the other three main GOP hopefuls as their candidate. Trump, for his part, during a campaign speech today, called Romney irrelevant. The Republican candidates, including Trump, are debating this evening. Federal authorities have charged 14 people in connection to the 2014 armed standoff in Nevada between federal land managers and militia supporters of rancher Cliven Bundy. NPR's Kirk Siegler reports the government has now charged a total of 19 people in the incident, all told.
Two more sons of rancher Cliven Bundy are included in this new indictment, 39-year-old David Bundy of Utah and his brother Melvin, 41, of Nevada. In total, 12 defendants were arrested as part of a nationwide sweep. The defendants are facing multiple felony charges, including conspiracy to injure a federal officer. On social media, the Bundy family is calling the FBI, quote, thugs. It's a frequent insult they've levied against the federal government during their years-long self-described range war over cattle grazing leases. The patriarch, Cliven Bundy, remains in custody after his arrest in Portland, Oregon last month. Kirk Siegler, NPR News.
Workers are apparently a bit less productive as last year wound down. According to the Labor Department, worker productivity, a measure of output per hour worked, declined at an annual rate of 2.2% in the final 3 months of last year. Preliminary data had indicated a worse decline in productivity for the 3 months. Stocks showed modest gains today, even as some investors apparently are waiting on tomorrow's government jobs report. The Dow was up 44 points. The Nasdaq gained 4 points. The S&P 500 rose 6 points. You're listening to NPR.
Hey Techies Show!
Technologic.
Crash it, change it, melt, upgrade it, charge it, point it, zoom it, press it, snap it, work it, quick erase it, write it, cut it, paste it, save it, load it, check it, quick rewrite it, plug it, play it, burn it, rip it, drag it, drop it, zip and zip it, lock it, fill it, call it, find it, view it, code it, jump and lock it, surf it, scroll it, pose it, click it, cross it, clack it, switch, update it, name it, fit it.
Welcome back to the Hey Techies Show, our dose. And we're so glad to have you in, and we would love to take your call, 256-782-5600. And you know what the show is if you've been listening any period of time. And we cover tech news as well as tech help, of course, and all the news that's fit to cover in the tech world. And sometimes we miss some stories, but for the most part, I think we
miss a lot of stories because you should
see
how many we don't do.
No,
we
I
have
know.
queued up to do.
Yeah, I know that, but it's just a matter of, we have just a little of time to do this. 2 hours goes by.
It really does. It goes by really quickly.
Yeah,
very quickly.
So we got 1 hour. Well, really less than an hour left tonight. So, but anyway, I was telling Bruce earlier today, and actually I might have been talking. Yeah, I was talking to y'all earlier today about Spy Hunter.
Oh,
Malware maker. They are filing a lawsuit over bad reviews. And they're filing a lawsuit against bleepingcomputer.com. I don't know if you've ever been there, but
that's where I go to download Combo Fix.
Yeah. The reason I stumbled across it, someone asked me if I would look at their hard drive. And what had happened, they had inadvertently got either Tesla Crypt or one of those other ransomwares. They thought it was Tesla Crypt or Alpha Crypt. Now, don't confuse this with the Tesla car maker. This is not the same thing. But basically, these people, you download a product, you run it without your knowledge sometimes. It's probably infiltrated in some other product, and it encrypts your data. And then they want money back from you to unencrypt. Or they'll give you a key, and that key will unencrypt your data. Well, anyway, I ran across, there's a big thing that pops up on bleepingcomputer.com. It says, Bleeping Computer has been sued by Enigma Software because of a negative review of Spy Hunter. And they go on to say a case like this could easily cost hundreds of thousands of dollars. And they're requesting help from the people that go to their site and get stuff.
I will support them.
But basically, my understanding of it is Spy Hunter is claiming that their review is driving people away from their site, and that they claim that Bleeping Computer has a connection with Malwarebytes, and people are going to Malwarebytes instead of using Spy Hunter, and that's what their complaint is. That's what they're trying to sue them for. They say that there is an interest that Bleeping does have. They claim Bleeping not only has unlawfully benefited from its spear campaign to the detriment of ESG, it has damaged the reputation of ESG by refusing to take down its false and misleading statements, which have been reposted numerous times on the other anti-spyware related forums and websites, so forth and so on. That was from court documents. So, anyway.
So, what's your take on Spy Hunter?
I really can safely say I've never used it, but the things I have heard about it is most things label it as spyware sometimes or adware.
Did you read that on Bleeping Computer?
No, I didn't. I'm not reviewing it, by the way. I'm not saying it is or it isn't. I'm reporting what I've read. I can't say what I've heard. I'm reporting what I've read.
Well, I read out loud.
Yeah, I know, but I'm just saying that I don't know whether it is or it isn't. I know people have made claims that after they installed it. Oh, I know one claim they make. This is very interesting to me. And it, if this is the way it works, it is their product. I mean, they can do what they want to with it. This has nothing to do with me. But Spy Hunter, they claim, you install it, it scans and finds stuff and says, "Oh, I will remove this level of stuff for a charge." Now, I'm saying what they're saying.
Yeah.
What news articles are saying and what I've researched.
Well, I mean, they could just give false positives and that it just makes up.
Well, we don't know that, but that's a possibility. But apparently,
verdict's out. Spy Hunter sucks.
Now.
That's Bruce at HeyTechiesShow.com.
Right. Yeah, sue him.
I reviewed it right here
I'll
on
tell you
the
how to get rid of
show.
spyware. Just format your computer.
You could do that too.
Well,
I mean,
yeah.
That's free advice, folks.
I've never heard. I'm not, definitely not a lawyer, but I've never heard of this. An owner for Bleeping Computer, Lawrence Abrams, says the Enigma software lawsuit is SLAPP, SLAPP, Strategic Lawsuits Against Public Participation. Have you ever heard of that?
I never have. Need a lawyer to come on the show and talk about that.
They're saying it's a SLAPP suit, which they think is basically to file a frivolous claim and try to silence your opponent.
Oh, yeah, I can.
I mean, they could be right. I'm just saying I'd never heard of SLAPP. I mean, I've seen people get slapped. Well,
Well, I'll say I'll support them because I have gone to Bleeping Computer for years, and they have provided me with free tools that do a great job. Granted, now that they're not the ones that wrote it, they are just providing an outlet to make it available. But that still costs money,
right?
And dealing with the ads, and I haven't actually been to their site in a while because I just let my updaters update that software. But it seems like it's gotten a lot better. Because there for a while it was like, which download button do I press? So I guess they've cleaned up who their advertisers are. Because they would have advertisers, and those advertisers would put advertisements that were download buttons. So,
well, I thought this was interesting and definitely in our wheelhouse of what we like to cover. And this is something that is not new as far as one company suing another company, about something particularly like this. So
it is interesting. So
well, looks like we might have got a caller. Maybe we'll have.
I mean, I like Combo Fix. That's where I've always downloaded it from, was Bleeping Computer. Of course, I haven't had to use it lately because I guess that part of my life has changed so much. So
yeah,
I haven't just. I work on mine, and I've gotten away from working on everybody else's.
Yeah.
So I guess, I'll save this for a rumor. I was going to say something about iOS 9.3. So we'll stay with that.
We've got a call actually talking about this Bleeping Computer lawsuit thing. They've got some personal experience. So.
Okay.
Bring them on.
Welcome to the Hey Techies Show, and just first name, but who have we got here?
I'm Rover from Las Vegas. I'm a computer tech from way back.
In Las Vegas. Now, okay, before you get to your question, because we'll give you time, how did you find us by the chance if you're from Las Vegas? That's just interesting to me, if you've got a second.
Spreadsheet.
Oh,
I got a spreadsheet that I made that lists all the computer talk shows.
I thought you sounded. Okay, go ahead with that you'd been working with it a while. Go ahead.
Well, I had an incident with a piece of software, and it wasn't the one that you're talking about, but it was one that was similar to it. And what I had done is I had taken a computer and did a fresh install of Windows 98 Second Edition.
Wow!
And it was never on the internet. I program in this site because I had read some reviews on it, ran their free scan. It said I was so loaded with infections that, and it took me 4 days to clean out all the garbage that this piece of software had put in. So another company bought that company. They came on to a talk show. I told him about it, and it happened to be the president of the company. He said he'd look into it. It took him about 6 months. They got the problem fixed. So, with this one company, maybe what should happen is someone should get in contact with the president of the company and say, hey, if your software is putting out false positives, just to get people to buy, your product on fear, then you're a company that I cannot recommend, which is, exactly what I said to the president of the company. And within 6 months, he had the problem fixed. I called the show that I had been talking to or did this on. I said, bring them back. They've got the problem fixed.
Nice.
The guy, and that show is now no longer, the host had died. But he brought him back. We talked about the product, the whole 9 yards. And now what that scan did was it would scan your system, and it would say, okay, your system's clean, or okay, I found this, this, and this. If you wish to remove it, please purchase our product.
Yeah.
And with that, I could say I approve of something like that. Because when you use fear tactics to get people to buy your product, then your product isn't good.
I agree.
No question about
You know.
that.
So what I'll have to do tomorrow is spin up a VM and download just that software and then let it run and see what it comes back with.
See what it finds.
Windows 98. Now, how long ago has this been? That
Well, it's 2016.
Oh.
98.
Yeah, I know that.
18 years ago.
It was like 99, 2000. I was back in Iowa at the
Okay,
time.
I got you. All right, that's cool. Oh, that's very interesting. Yeah, I remember Windows 98 very well.
Well, I still use it occasionally. Now I'm, I've got XP on a couple of machines, Windows Vista, Windows 7, a Windows 10 machine. So, plus I also have a Server 2003.
Wow. Yeah. Okay.
And along with a couple of Linux machines.
Yeah, got to have those thrown in
Yeah,
there.
absolutely. Well, you sound like you know a little bit about it and have had some experience. Well, we appreciate the call. Thank you so
appreciate the call.
much.
Thanks for telling us your
Yeah.
experience.
Yeah.
And just FYI, I'm using Google Voice for the call.
Okay. Yeah. Well, it sounds pretty clear. Just it cut out a couple of times, but you would expect that from something like that event. Google Voice. All right.
Well, we'll bet all on black for me.
All right.
All right. You have a great night. We
later.
really appreciate it. Okay.
You too.
All right.
Okay. All right. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye. Yeah, I think tomorrow I am gonna go and throw up a VM and let it scan, and we'll report back with the results next week.
Okay. Cool.
So, have to do that tomorrow.
But make sure you install Windows 98 first.
Yeah,
That's right.
Thank you so much for the call. Hey Techies Show will be right back.
Stay with us.
Don't have a kernel panic. Hey Techies will be right back.
Jacksonville Tan is a proud patron of WLJS, serving Jacksonville and surrounding areas since 1987. At their location at 115 Francis Street East, next to Walgreens. Jacksonville Tan knows a thing or two about healthy glow, offering 16 tanning beds and virtually no wait times. A great tan is never out of the question. For more info, call them at 256-435-1770.
Jacksonville Bookstore offers supplies for school all throughout the year. From books to binders, pencils to Scantrons, Jacksonville Bookstore has it all. They are open Monday through Saturday with convenient hours and location on 302 Mountain Street Northwest in Jacksonville. To find out more, like them on Facebook or call 256-435-7407. Jacksonville Bookstore, a proud patron of WLJS.
Stress of Jacksonville has been serving the Jacksonville community for over a decade. They are located at 500 Forney Avenue, right next to the cockpit. Strutt serves wings, beer, and more. Their business hours are Sunday through Thursday, 11 a.m. to 9 p.m., and Friday and Saturday, 11 a.m. to 10 p.m. To place a to-go order, please call 256-782-0106. For more information, go to strutswings.com.
Welcome back to the Hey Techies Show. Yeah. There you go. Bruce. Oh, and speaking of that, Bruce just recently celebrated an anniversary.
I did.
With his lovely wife.
I did.
6 years, right?
6 years.
Congratulations.
We've been married. We've been together longer than that, but
yeah,
feels like we've been married longer than
He's
that.
been married forever.
No,
It feels like he's been married longer than that. No, darling, it feels like yesterday.
Yeah. No, it's so I guess once we get over that 7-year hump, we'll be just old people then. It'll be like,
You know,
we've been together
I'm
this long.
surprised I didn't get feedback from Micah. You know, Micah, if you're listening.
Yeah, our main man Micah.
Man, you should be jealous. He had a Windows 98 box.
Yep.
I mean, good grief. Are you talking about?
Actually, you can run 98.
Oh, sure you can.
Let me finish.
Oh, sorry.
In your browser now, there's places
I've
that
heard
really.
it. Yeah, I've seen
Cool.
that. You can run
Yeah.
old versions.
98, and then some Linux OSs.
Yeah, in your browser. Yes, sir.
Which you know,
Well, that's like
is
really a
DSL still around?
Yeah.
I haven't downloaded.
Oh, yes,
that in a
that's
while.
around. That's still around. Absolutely, yes. Yes.
It's been a long time since I've
And I
used
don't
that.
think they're hacked.
Well, talking
Not
about hack and Tesla crypt and
Sure is.
ransomware, you know, here's my advice. Here's some free advice. What?
Nothing. Go
Oh,
ahead.
you're sitting there like looking around like, what's
No,
the-
I thought I heard some
Anyway.
strange voice. That
No.
was- Oh, okay.
Just the best defense against all this ransomware is have a good backup.
Yes.
I mean, and I know that's like, well, duh, but you know, just take some time, you know, once a week, once a month, you know, if it's just burn it to a disk or copy it to an external hard drive or a thumb drive or something. Because Tesla crypt or, you know, heaven forbid, a tornado, we just had those, you know, in the state just the other day. It's just best to have that backed up and then take it off site. I mean, you can go spend money on Carbonite and Crash Plan and all this. But you can use free stuff like Dropbox and OneDrive if you have Office 365. And I mean, just back it up, folks. Got to back it up to get it back.
What are you looking at now?
Well, I'm having a look to see where their website's hosted because I tried to connect to it and it won't let me connect.
Oh.
And I added.
You talking about DSL?
Yeah.
No.
I was getting.
And we're not talking about the service, folks. It's
No.
a version of Linux. Anyway. It's a really small Linux.
Yep.
It's
darn small.
It's explicitly small.
Explicitly small.
How small is small?
I don't know.
Really,
like-
really small.
Like a couple megs.
That small?
Yeah,
I'm
that's
like holding my
small.
fingers like
Yeah.
a inch apart. Not cool.
Yeah, I'm getting. I don't know, man. I'm gonna have to. Well, see, I added some. I'm getting a connection refused, and I think it's. I just want to make sure it's not because some firewalls I did today.
Another thing about the whole, I think you were telling me this, Michael, about the whole Linux Mint getting hacked is, you know, that checksum or that was that MD5
Yes, that's what I was
hash?
going to tell. The checksum,
Yeah.
yes. Absolutely. The checksum, that's what I think I got cut off. Those are loud.
They are loud.
Those are loud.
We have
crickets.
very loud crickets tonight.
Oh, and it looks like we might have got another caller. No, but the checksum, okay, is how you could check your
Some things.
The checksum number is how you can actually check to see if your version of what you downloaded is trustworthy.
Yeah.
That will, and there's a way to check that and test it to see if that's actually version. So we got another caller here.
Yeah, let me unmute my mic. Yes, Micah, our
Oh,
main man,
Micah.
Okay.
Yeah, he has this whole Linux Mint stuff. He said he can talk about that. Plus, he's had his smartphone for 3 weeks.
Oh yeah, we can get a good review on that.
Well, hello, Micah. How are you doing from Maine?
Hey, you guys? Doing good, although it got cold all of a sudden.
No.
Can't believe it.
I can't believe in Maine that it gets cold this time of the year, Mike.
Surely not.
Surely not.
You know, I was up in the 50s. I was grilling out again, but then today it's 29.
It's never too cold to grill.
So what you got for us tonight?
Well, I just heard you mention Linux Mint,
Yes.
and it's funny. I just downloaded a new copy of that because I heard about all those troubles there.
Yes.
And they have that. Apparently, everything's fixed. The Mint site was down because they knew that they had a problem for about a week.
Right.
And I just thought that was such a good thing to do, and how it demonstrates how they really care about their product. And they took the site down so that no one would be able to download the problem distro or for
That's
a while.
correct. Yeah. You're right. And also, it was actually, I think it was only one version. It was a cinnamon version of their distro, and it might have been the 64-bit if I'm not mistaken. It wasn't all of them, and it wasn't all the download sites either. They couldn't have, I think I'm repeating, but since you've called, they could not, the mirrors, which are in other places in the entire world, they can be in other countries, some in the United States, some abroad, theirs were not compromised. But I think the local, on the actual website, where the local download connected to, they had rewritten that and it pointed somewhere else for one version of the product, which they said a good many had actually downloaded. So, but yeah.
And I haven't run it yet. I'm planning on playing with it later this week. But from what I understand, that the Linux Mint Cinnamon version is very, very Windows-like and supposed to be very friendly and easy to use. And I'm looking forward to trying it.
Yeah, it would be. It was more like that. Absolutely, I do agree with that. Yes, and I've ran into a few more different products here recently that I've tried out. There's one, and I don't have the name of it right off the bat, and I'll have to dig it up. But it had Wine built into it, and Wine will let you run some of the actual Windows environment. Like I was running IE, a version of IE on it.
Why?
Well, just to see if it would work.
Just see if it would break.
Just for testing purposes.
So, Micah, you got a phone.
I finally got a phone, and of all things, I ended up with an iPhone.
Yeah.
Congratulations.
I knew that Chris would be happy about that.
I know Bruce is very sad about that.
Well, reason being, and I think Bruce will be happy about this too, because I didn't get the Hey Techies credit card, is that I had to use up these hotel points that I had that were going to expire.
Yeah.
And so I ended up getting it with points, and didn't have to pay any cash out of pocket for it.
Oh,
so,
wow. That's
so
perfect.
That was great. I ended up with a 6S. And I'm very, very glad that I did, not because I love the operating system so much, but, when you move over, I'm reasonably good with computers overall. I'm not an expert, not like you guys, but I can, work my way around certain things here and there. But it's so different when you're going to some kind of a phone system. And I got it, and I'm looking at an iPhone, and the operating system is so completely different than anything I have ever seen. And if I would have had the same problems with an Android phone, I wouldn't have had any place to go. But I go down to the Apple Store, and there's an Apple Store here in town, and I walk in, and any problem or question I have, they solve it. They work with me. They'll help me with anything that I need. And I've taken several classes down there that they offer for free. Just had one today on the camera and iPhone photography, and I took one on the music system, rather the iCloud system, and I took one on basic operations of the phone. And what I found is that you can't think of the phone as a computer. You need to really think about it as an appliance, because I tend to overthink things trying to figure out how to work things out. And it's just too simple sometimes.
Yeah, I can see that.
Yeah, and I'll say about Apple, they have some of the best customer service, best support in the industry, by far.
Yes. If your device is under warranty and current, but if it's the older device, they want that their first thing. No, seriously, let me finish. I'm not bashing them. It is their business.
Right.
They want you to upgrade to the next
Correct.
product. And I understand the concept. This is not a negative
I
thing
know,
of them.
but we can say that for another discussion, but I just wanted to make that point.
They do have great service.
Yeah.
I've said that before. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I think you'll love the iPhone. And obviously they're going to try to do everything they can to do to protect your data. I mean, you can't argue against that.
That's right.
So.
FBI can't even get to it.
Yeah. Hey, that's interesting. I think most people were surprised how much I bet if you asked everybody, most people would think, well, they can. How do they need the Apple to get to? They can get to my data already. I bet a lot of people are surprised that they can't get to that data on that phone, and they do need a company that owns the product to get into it. I think a lot of people are probably surprised about that.
Well, I was going to, if you want to talk about that, I can go off. If you don't want me to, you better tell me now, though.
No, it's fine. Well, how are you locking the phone?
I'm enjoying it. I'm enjoying actually having the phone with me. It's nice to be able to finish with an appointment and say, hey, I wonder what's going on Twitter, and be able to check on those things. Or check my email while I'm away. And I didn't think I would really care for it a whole lot like that, but it is very, very handy, and I don't go crazy with it. And I only have 2 gigabytes of data. I ended up staying with my carrier, who happens to be AT&T. I was ready to change to Cricket, as we had talked about on the air, and I went to change, and I needed to get my account number, so I called AT&T and said I need my account number because I'm switching, and they said, well, we'll give you the extra 2 gigabytes of data. You don't have any now for just $5 more a month, which ended up being pretty close to the same price I would pay for Cricket.
Yeah.
And I figured, okay, that makes sense for me to do for now, because that way if I have any problems, I can't blame the carrier. I'll be dealing with the current carrier and know that it's not an issue with the SIM card.
Right.
So I stayed there, and I figured I'll do that for a month or two, and then if I need more data for the same price, I can move over to Cricket and get 5 gigabytes. But so far, let me see, I moved over to a new month. I'm about halfway through the month. I've only used I haven't even used a gigabyte yet. I don't even know if I used 500 gigs at this point.
Well, you mean 500 megs?
I'm sorry.
Yeah. Well, for a self-described Luddite, that doesn't surprise me too much. You keeping away from technology as much as possible.
Well, I don't know if I'm keeping so far away from it. Check. I'm not going through Netflix, and I'm not listening live to podcasts. But everything that I've done, if I need to check it, and I ought to see how much data I've used on Wi-Fi. But I just make sure I'm on Wi-Fi, because I'm not just a Luddite. I'm a cheapskate.
Yeah, I knew that too. You've told us that before. Hey, I'm the cheapskate too, as well sometimes. So anyway.
Well, I'm curious with AT&T own and DirecTV now. If you bundle your services, you can actually, I think for new customers, get unlimited data through AT&T.
Yes, they have said that.
Yes. So.
Yes, and they actually, I had to transfer my data from my old flip phone, my contacts, to the iPhone, because I certainly don't want to sit there and enter all the names and phone numbers and everything. And I went to the AT&T store, and they were kind enough to take it right off the SIM card and copy it in. And it copied in just beautifully. I mean, really simply. And they tried to sell me the DirecTV package, which I don't want where I am. I'm just not in a good position to get it. But some of the bundles were really pretty incredible. Very, 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 very good. If that's something that people are interested in, I think if you look at it as a bundle package, it's worth looking at from a cheapskate standpoint.
Now, you were just saying about the phooey. My short-term memory, I think, is actually going. That's not good. That is terrible for what I'm doing. It's terrible. But the actual the SIM card. I remember we discussed this back when you came on our show, the first time. We talked about the SIM card, and you were concerned that they might not find anything that could pull data off your old SIM card. So they had something there that would do it, huh?
Absolutely, and apparently the Apple stores can do it too. But it's the old SIM card. They plugged it into their computer, and were able to. That's where all my data was stored. They were able to pull all the names and the phone numbers exactly as I entered them.
And I think that's one thing we suggested they might be able to do.
Right.
I think that's what. Yeah, we talked about that. Yeah. Okay.
Now, what I wasn't able to do is I use Thunderbird as my email client on the desktop, and I was not able to take my address book and copy in the email addresses. And I figured out and tried to work all sorts of different ways to do it, and tried to sync it with Google and Gmail and get that together, and I just could not get it to sync. And so finally, last night I just went through and picked it was about 50 email addresses and very, very carefully typed them all in. So there they are.
Huh.
I've got surprised with the Google. I've not personally had success with that. I've recommended that to folks, but Apple and Google sometimes don't play nice anymore. So,
well, this was Thunderbird and Google is what it was, because you know the Thunderbird program is based on Mozilla, and Google are not necessarily hooking together very well either. And I think that's what the problem was, because Thunderbird's really, when you think about it, even though they updated, it's an old client when it comes right down
but
to
I'm surprised if you could, because I was a big Thunderbird user, and I've actually had to migrate people from Thunderbird to other email clients. And I'm thinking that you could export, I'm pretty sure, in CSV format and import that in Gmail, if I'm not mistaken.
That was a problem. I could not export to CSV. I could export to, is it LD?
Yes.
IB?
Yeah.
And I could get that, but I couldn't get to find a way to import that into Gmail.
Yeah, well, no, that probably wouldn't. That's interesting. Okay.
At least I couldn't figure out how to get it out in CSV. I was looking for it.
Well, you know, one way to look at this, you can now almost remember everybody's email address by heart because you typed them all in.
Yeah. Absolutely. Oh, with my fat little fingers on that tiny little keypad.
Yeah, that's well, man, we appreciate you calling us so much. So
it was great.
So
Go right ahead.
So what's your view about this Apple thing and FBI going on?
I tend to believe that much of this, I think, is political, as so many things are. If the FBI really wanted to get into this one phone, they would have sent one of those, I forgot what they call that special letter that comes from the courts that when the company gets it, they're not even allowed to talk about the fact that they get it or contact a lawyer or anything. They just have to secretly do whatever's told. They could have done it that way, and it would have happened, and they wouldn't have been able to get into the phone. But I believe that what the FBI is doing is trying to break, and maybe the government, I don't want to get into any conspiracy theories, but trying to break encryption so that there's a back door into everything, and that's what people don't understand. In the general public, we get it, but once you create a way to break it, that back door will be there for anybody to use. It's not like it exists automatically, but if there's a way it can be found to do it, it can be done for anything, and then encryption is over. Now, you can't break encryption for everything. There can be other encryption, but once you get into the Apple system, until Apple changes their system, it'll always happen, and I think that's what the FBI wants is, I don't want to say the government because that sounds too black helicopter theory and tinfoil hats, but I think that that's what some organizations would like to have is a backdoor into all systems so that there can't be any encryption in the sake of, I think for good reasons, to protect the public, but I don't know if that's necessarily a good thing overall.
No, and I don't think so either. And I tell you, we don't have to really go back this far, but Benjamin Franklin said, you know, you can't trade liberty for a sense of security. That I'm butchering the quote. That's not an exact quote, but that's,
those who trade liberty for a sense of security deserve neither.
Correct, right. That's probably the more. See, Micah's just older than me. That's what it is. He remembers.
Oh, wow.
I was there.
Yeah, I'm just kidding you, Micah. No, seriously, you were busy, so you didn't hear the first part of the show, so I hope you'll get to go back later because we covered some of the David Muir interview with Tim Cook. And he had a lot of great things to say, but one thing I didn't get to say because obviously we can't play the whole thing. We played clips. But one of the parts of the interview, Tim Cook explained it like this. If you have a house, the phone is a house with no door. Once you install a door, even if there's a lock on it or what, then anybody can get in there even with the lock on it because now there's a door in the house. Right now there's a wall with no door. Was his point. It's complete encryption all the way across. But if you make a place for a window or a door, then someone could get in through that. And I thought it was a pretty good analogy. It was really interesting. It's clear he had given a lot of thought to this.
It makes a lot of sense. And the other thing that people don't realize overall is that email, under any circumstances, is not confidential and it's not protected by law. And so once, anybody that intercepts it or has complete and total access to it, and the only way to keep it safe is to encrypt it, keep it from prying eyes. Email is a postcard as opposed to a first-class letter, which is sealed.
Right.
Now, a postcard anybody can read,
Sure.
but a first-class letter in a sealed envelope actually is protected by law and has more legal protections to it than does any kind of email or electronic correspondence. And when you see, sometimes you might get an email from someone or an attorney's office or some government office that says, if you receive this by mistake, blah, 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 you can't read it, it's against the law for you to do anything with it. Well, that's meaningless. There's no legal background for that. If you get the email, if they missend it, if you get it, it completely means nothing. It's yours. You can do whatever you want with it. You can post it. It's perfectly fine. Whereas if you get somebody else's letter, that's breaking the law.
Right. Speaking of that, I don't want to go political here. I just want to use this person because I learned this week. Did you know that Donald Trump does not use email? He doesn't use email, not that he doesn't understand it or he's not a technical person. He doesn't use email because he says a lot of his friends have gotten sued over what they put in emails. And they've been subpoenaed on the emails and found out, and they've been sued. And a lot of them have lost the lawsuits because of what was in the email.
Well, are you familiar with Whitey Bulger and on all the cases that happened up here and then his trace for the FBI?
No, I guess I'm not.
He's a confirmed criminal. Was number one on the most wanted list for years and years and years. But what he used to say is, never write when you can speak. Never write when you can call. Never call when you can speak. Never speak when you can nod. Never nod when you can wink. And it's the same thing with email.
I've heard that, but I didn't know that was attributed to that. Okay, yeah. Wow.
Yeah. So, but it's the same thing. It's the same thing with email. If it's something's put in writing, then it's there. But email, again, there's no legal protection of it unless, and even if you encrypt it, it's not legally protected. But then it's encrypted and there's no backdoor. Pretty good privacy, for example.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. It's encrypted until it gets to the other end and the other person has a key and unencrypts it, and then they can do whatever they wanted to with it.
Exactly.
Right. So, yeah. Well, anyway, thank you so much, man. We appreciate it.
Thanks,
Great talking with you guys. Keep up the great work, and I'll be listening in.
Yeah, we appreciate you thawing yourself out and able to call us.
Oh, well, it gets a little chilly up this
What's
way.
the temp right now?
I haven't looked outside in a while.
Oh, my goodness.
But when I came inside, I think it was 17. That was around 7 o'clock.
17, man. All right. Well, thanks so much, Micah. You have a great evening.
Have a good night.
Okay. Bye-bye. All right. Well, Bruce, you're quiet, man. He's studying up on all his stories. That's
Sure.
Sure. Yeah. Go ahead. We got 2 minutes.
Yeah, I got 2 minutes. I gotta be quick about this. So I guess since I kicked this music off, I'll start.
I think you did all of these, so go for it.
Well, the first one, I got several here. Of course, most of them are Apple. Shocking, I know. The March 15th first rumor of the next product announcement from Apple has been pushed back to the 21st of March. And several sources, including BuzzFeed, is saying that's the date. It's going to be at Apple's Town Hall in Cupertino. As in terms of what they're going to talk about.
You better hit stop next. It's going to go. Sorry. That was a little behind. Go ahead.
Okay.
Apologize.
In terms of what is rumored they're going to announce is a new 4-inch iPhone, which we talked about this before, but it's got a name now. The I had it and I lost it. I got the wrong tab open. The iPhone SE. As in Sierra Echo.
Sierra Echo.
So this is a 4-inch iPhone. The screen's 4 inches, but it's going to have the same hardware specs as the iPhone 6S.
12
with the A9 chip. I think a 12 megapixel camera, NFC for Apple Pay, Bluetooth 4.2. There's rumored to be a 16 gig and a 64 gig option, 802.11 AC, blah, 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 blah. Basically, think of an iPhone 6S like the one Micah just got, but smaller. So that's the rumor.
But it's still $400 to $500. That just doesn't seem like a big I mean, I could understand it if it was maybe
new.
even less than $300. That would be a huge price cut. But why don't we just spend the extra money and save up a little more and get the big phone? I mean,
Just trying to provide options, man.
$400 to $500 option.
Pretty much.
That's still a lot of money for a phone.
It's still a lot, but now it's the whole thing's these payment plans. But real quickly, there's also a rumor of a 9.7-inch iPad, which they're possibly being dubbed as the iPad Pro, just a smaller iPad Pro. I guess same specs as the larger iPad Pro, but a smaller screen and new Apple Watch bands. So that's that rumor. And go ahead.
I was going to say another thing that's rumored is with iOS 9.3, they will start letting you know if your phone is being monitored, like if it's being managed by your company or something like that. So it will, in the beta that was released, it showed, hey, this iPhone is managed by your organization.
Yeah,
so they're trying to have some transparency there.
I agree with that because, so people know that, because you don't want to use your company issued device for personal things. And, here's one more quick one. This was Tim Cook, not Steve Jobs, Michael.
Yes.
He was quoted recently when they were asking about the Apple car. And this is what he said. Do you remember when you were a kid and on Christmas Eve, it was so exciting and you weren't sure what it was going to be, that was going to be downstairs? Well, it's going to be Christmas Eve for a while. And he's referring to the Apple car.
Yeah.
So
he's saying it's going to be pushed back.
Yeah, so there's no dates.
But I can at least shake the box.
And there's people saying that there's loud engine noises and all kind of
near
one of their factories.
Yeah, there was something else about that this week too, but I didn't put that in my list. But that's
probably the gas cranes and stuff moving everything around, because you'd think the car's gonna be electric, right?
You never know.
Yeah, who knows?
That would seem like a step.
That's what I've got for rumors.
So. All right. Thank you, Guru. We appreciate it. We're going to have to cut the break. We went a little long, so the last segment will be a little short. We'll be right back. Hey Techies Show.
If you missed it live, then catch the Hey Techies Rewind, Sundays at noon.
Red Threads Apparel carries a wide selection of t-shirt designs for every school function, work party, and much more. They also offer custom layouts for monogrammed attire. Red Threads Apparel is located at 16 Square Unit 8 in downtown Jacksonville on the square. Their business hours are Monday through Friday, 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. For more information on Red Threads powered by O-Brand, visit their Facebook page at O-Brand Marketing or call 256-770-9880.
Looking to cure that sweet tooth of yours? Mad Hatter Cupcake Shop is now proudly serving the Jacksonville area at their new location at 16 Public Square on the Square. Mad Hatter is open Tuesday through Saturday from 11 to 9 p.m. and they are closed on Sunday and Monday. For additional information, be sure to check out their Facebook page, www.facebook.com/Mad Hat Cupcakes, and their website, www.madhatcakes.com.
Gamecock Outfitters, located on the square at 109 Ladica Street in Jacksonville, provides customers with outdoor apparel and gear. Gamecock Outfitters is able to help you find exactly what you need for every outdoor adventure. Gamecock Outfitters is open Tuesday through Friday from 10 o'clock to 5:30 and Saturday from 10 o'clock to 5 o'clock. For additional information, contact them at 256-435-2008 or check out their website at GadsdenOutfitters.com.
This is 91.9 FM, WLJS Jacksonville, your cure for common radio.
Welcome back to the Hey Techies Show. About to wrap up the night here. And Guru is getting set.
Getting set for This Week in Tech History.
This Week in Tech History.
And now I've got sound effects, so when you're wrong, I can give you the fail horn. over here.
Yeah.
Oh.
So you know what he's hoping for, right?
Yeah, he's hoping.
Yeah, I got that one.
It's been a busy week, so
Yes.
we'll see.
All right. So here's your date. Here's your date, Bruce.
Okay.
February 27th of 2007.
2007.
February. That's not this week.
Yeah, it is. Since last Thursday.
Oh, okay.
The 29th was Monday. So that was last.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
February 7th, 2007?
Yes.
27th.
February 27th of 2007.
Yeah. He got a depressing one. I'll just go ahead and tell you.
It's depressing?
Yes.
Somebody die?
No. But it is depressing.
You don't be giving any more.
I didn't give it away, Guru. That can't be a giveaway.
Hints are not allowed.
And this is tech, right?
Oh,
Yeah.
absolutely.
Oh, yes.
Absolutely.
What happened in 2007?
No, it was a sad day.
Oh,
that was my thoughts exactly.
Broke my heart.
It broke mine. I'll go ahead and tell you.
Things have never been the same.
Nope. CompUSA closed?
You got it.
Oh,
you
man.
got it.
I was trying to think, man. Wow.
I don't have a ding ding.
Oh, man.
No, I have to come up with
Golly.
Yeah, I did give it away.
Yes.
I mean, I
Sorry,
was like,
Gary.
what was depressing? And I was like,
See,
that
it's
was the closest
Michael.
thing I could think about.
This is for Michael. He gave it away.
We're having fun on this show, Guru. Having fun.
Anyway, what happened that day is CompUSA announced they were closing 126 stores.
Yes.
By June of that year, and restructuring the remaining 103, and eventually those 103, of course, did close.
Yeah.
So that kind of bye-bye for the Computer Mega Store. It was eventually purchased by System Max, and System Max now runs 35 stores, bearing the CompUSA name. And of course, hadn't been to one of those. So I don't know who did
Nowhere
that.
near us.
Of course not.
There
but
used to be one in Birmingham.
I remember driving to
Yeah.
Birmingham to go to the CompUSA store.
And do you know what I remember about it? They used to have stacks and stacks of boxes that were selling Linux versions that you could install. Red Hat. I mean, you could go down and buy. It was like it was Microsoft
And they had
products. It was a row of Linux boxes.
And they had like the corner of the store with all the Apple products.
Right.
You know.
They did. They did have Apple products. They
It's
sure
before
did.
it's before there was like Apple stores around here. So
Yeah.
anyway.
Well, do you have a hack this week? Of course, we have covered the IRS.
Well, yeah, we talked about the RS, so that was
I
pretty
guess
much it.
we'll have to do that. Yeah. Well, I guess we'll try to finish up our show with this week. Well, we did this week in tech history. We're going to try to finish up with what, Bruce? He's not listening.
Well,
to
I think these are like non-standard because my headphones keep cutting out.
Your headphones keep cutting.
Yeah, they've got to be just right.
Just
when it
right.
cuts out.
Yeah.
So,
overclock stack.
Overclock stack. Ready to go.
Ready to go.
You're gonna have to start out.
I know.
Well, I'll tell you this. So there was two artists that were in Germany, and they somehow scanned, I guess, took multiple shots of the Queen Nefertiti bust that is in the museum. That I forget how many people they say come and visit it every year, but from that they were able to create 3D prints of it. So basically, I guess their thing was, instead of locking this up to where, only so many people can see it, or you have to be privileged to see it, now we can share it with the world. So
in Sweden, there is an automated store. And only a smartphone app is used. There is no human employees. You use the app to get in the store. You go through and buy the products. You scan the products, and they send you a bill at the end of the month.
Okay.
And you actually have to have the app to get in. You scan each item. And this is in Sweden.
Interesting.
Yeah.
So go ahead, Guru.
Okay. All these companies, well, not say all these, but a lot of companies, have turned to social media, embrace social media to help their customers. Those that use social media, Bruce don't know about this, but
what are we talking about?
But one that has never really used social media has now switched over. Apple now has a Twitter account called @AppleSupport, where they're actually, you can tweet to that account and they will help you. And they're also posting, tips and tricks and stuff as well. So that's pretty cool. Just go out to twitter.com/AppleSupport and go follow them or ask them a question.
There you go.
Arg! Pirates be hacking servers to identify booty. So
that's pretty good.
Hackers, it's funny because pirates are actually now hacking into servers to be more efficient in their,
instead of going the open sea route.
Well, no, they're still going the open sea route, but it's helping them
from the boat.
Identify which what's the word
I don't know. You
thinking
got the
of.
story.
Well, I really don't. But identify which crates basically to open because they're going just after the high value target. So they're trying to be more efficient in their looting. So
okay. Well, if you are around some areas that have this, there is a Happy Meal now, and actually, ironically, this is in Sweden, where it will have happy goggles. The whole, that the Happy Meal comes in a box, right? You've seen this box, right? Well, now in Sweden, they're trying this out called the Happy Meal with it's a Happy Googles as they're goggles as they're calling it, and it turns into like a
Google Cardboard or something.
Yeah, like a cardboard for your phone.
I like the one when I was a kid that was like the Halloween plastic pail.
It's like a VR headset. And it also
that's pretty cool.
You play a game.
Assuming the child has.
Well, they're making a big assumption there.
Yeah,
I actually think that you're going to be seeing these for sale, say on eBay, is my guess. Because
like
they're not
novelty.
right because it's not sold over here yet.
Well, they sell the plans to the cardboard.
That's correct. I mean, you can just go do that, right? But this would be neat. According to this, it would sell for around $4.10. At a actual, about what it costs to get a Happy Meal.
MSRP.
Yeah, the MSRP. That's right.
All right, I guess I'm next. I was searching eBay for that. See if I couldn't find it.
I want one.
Apple. Excuse me, not Apple. iOS and Android combined have 98.4% market share. I know that's shocking to y'all, but based on the latest numbers from Gartner Research, Android has 80.7% market. That's wrong. 76% market share. iOS has 20%, and Windows 2.8. So that's the 5 people that have Windows phones. No, that's more than that. And BlackBerry is 0.5%, and then 0.4% others. What else is there?
I mean, I guess your older phone, your non-smartphones.
Yeah, this is worldwide smartphone sales to end users by operating system, and this is in fourth quarter. Excuse me, this is not total, but this is fourth quarter 2015. But anyway, pretty interesting. So Windows Phone is not taking off, unfortunately, with only 2.8% sold in fourth quarter.
Yeah, I think it's going to be. I hate it for Andrew Wear, but I think it's dead. I have no other stories.
So, Bruce, I found us a retirement plan.
Sweet.
Yes.
Sign me up.
Netflix is now hiring a team of people to travel around Europe and take photos to post on Instagram.
For what?
The actual title of the job is Gram Master. They're doing this for social profile, basically. And
for what?
I don't know. I'm just telling you that that they're actually have asked some people or hiring people. They're giving them $4,000 in spending money to keep them going through the areas. Be able to afford to stay. And all you have to do is, I guess, post back through this app.
For what?
Yeah, I don't know. Look, I'm just telling you. The hashtag, let's see, to apply for the job, just use hashtag Your 3 best photos on Instagram with Grandmaster3.
I guarantee
hashtag
you,
Grandmaster3.
I guarantee you the people that get it will be relatives, like their college-age kids that are relatives of people that work there, and that's a way that they could send them on the company dime.
Yeah.
Put it under marketing.
That's a possibility.
We're good to go. There you go. You're backpacking Europe.
Guru, you got anything
Yeah,
left?
one more real quick. This
Okay.
is from the other week, and I didn't get to cover it, but this is interesting. Netflix has closed its last data center, and they've moved all their online business to one of these other companies. Guess which one?
AWS.
You're right. Amazon Web Services. That's kind of ironic because that's kind of they're kind of competing with the Prime Video stuff. But
Oh yeah, we were going to talk.
but Netflix began closing these homegrown data centers back in
Absolutely.
2008 after a server issue brought some
Right.
issues. So they basically said, well, we're getting out of this business. So they just moved it to the cloud.
Yeah.
Somebody else's cloud. They're like, we're done.
Well, I wonder if Amazon's going to start charging them.
Yeah, I know. I
That's
saw that
kinda
story. I was like,
short-sighted.
that don't. How's that going to work?
I don't know, but
I
that's
don't know.
I mean, I guess Amazon, they'll sell it to whoever. What do they care?
they're making
Right?
money.
Yeah. Well, look, thanks so much for being with us tonight. We've had a fabulous show, had 2 callers, very interesting topics. I hope you've enjoyed this show. And as always, you can replay our show. We'll have it up as soon as we can get all the information up, and it'll be on our YouTube feed too. So we're so glad to have you tonight. And from all of us to all of you, we hope you have an absolutely fabulous weekend. We'll catch you next week.